Thanks for that break. As you can tell, we're very invested and emotional about public education.
Absolutely. And especially when it comes to things like school closures.
Yeah.
And when you have been an educator or a part of a community when a school closes, it's devastating for everyone. Every stakeholder of that community, of that school. So, much love to all of my former colleagues and students. I see you, I hear you, I love you, and I wish you nothing but the best, and sending you so much love and strength.
And this goes out to also every person affected by the school closures everywhere.
Because it's not just the school that's getting closed.
It is
or has been
right
within the last few years.
Yeah.
So, and we've had friends who have had their schools be either a receiving school or a closing school, and so. But that is full of change, and that kind of leads us into our fun witchy part. So kind of like brighten the mood a little bit. With it being a new year, we wanted to talk about maybe a little bit some of the themes we have researched, and that we've also, have been taught and also guided.
Yep. We have a lot of really great teachers. Thank you to all of them online and in real life.
Absolutely.
It's been great.
And so we've narrowed it down to basically 4 or 5 themes, and because my thing is crystals.
Right. And astrology.
Mine
is tarot and energy.
Yes. She's
a
great Reiki healer, let me tell you.
Thank you.
So we've narrowed it down to a few topics to kind of themes, I guess, that are what are going to really be kind of the description of 2025.
Yeah, the essence of this new year.
As we know, as we said earlier, Pluto and Aquarius.
Yes.
And so something that Pluto and Aquarius represents is change and transformation.
Yep.
And having that be through, revolution, that is going to come through communication and technology, but really people opening up their throat chakras and their heart chakras and really changing their thoughts. We see a lot of air and fire within this year and within the planets, and planets retrograding and coming to fruition this year. And so we wanted to provide you not only some heads up of some of these themes, but also what are some ways that can help heal you or protect you or keep you sane, especially when these planets go in retrograde throughout the year. So some of the themes we have are change, self, transformation, psychic awareness, and then also protection, which I added just because
crystals are your thing.
And 2, you're going to need it during this amount of change that is destined to happen this year, and transformation. And since we have the switch from Pluto into Aquarius, we also have switches in other planets that are going to focus more on the self. Shout out to Aries. This is going to be your year and the year of Aries. Also Gemini. There's a lot of Gemini in this. And of course, shout out to Aquarius, because that is going to be, Pluto and Aquarius is one of the most influential, and I think influences, at least astrologically, and also I think within our daily lives. That's going to happen this year.
I mean, what are we? January 3rd?
January 3rd.
3 days into this new year, and we have seen so much of that energy already. I mean, we discussed this earlier, the Louisiana, the New Orleans, I think the news was calling it the Bourbon Street Massacre. shout out, I mean, just so much love. And I know we're teachers who experience school shootings, so these can sound empty, but we really do care. And then the Cybertruck detonating in front of the Trump Hotel in Vegas. Lightning strikes the Empire State Building on New Year's Eve. The Washington Monument. DC, and then also the Capitol. I think, in DC. So the universe is kind of here to tell us, like, it's time to wake up. So one of our goals is, like, as we learn these things, we want to share it with y'all because there's some, big energy going on and a lot to learn. So,
And so part of, I think, our journey also is to share on ways that you can protect yourself, that you can cope with this amount of change. I mean, we're seeing really deep change within, systems and, with things like religion and, politics and just a lot of these systems that we've relied on for years that either give us comfort for some of us, provide us guidance, law in some instances. So these major systems that we have are going to either crumble or change in major ways. And so because crystals are my thing, I wanted to provide you some crystals to use during some of these themes that are going to happen, or when you're feeling kind of the effects of some of these themes. So we'll start off with change, because that truly change and transformation is really truly the themes, I think.
Yes. And if you're into numerology, just real quick, because my niece told me this was trending on TikTok, which I'm not on yet. Hopefully ever. Anyway. Sorry. When we talk about numerology as a universal year, you add up the numbers. So 2025. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5. That equals 9. And in numerology, you don't go above 9. 9 is it. It's like, is it 0 to 9 or is it?
I believe so. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's 0 to 9 or 1 to 9.
But 9 is like the top.
But 9 is the top. 9 represents completion. It represents, it's kind of like that rebirth. I think a lot of us have been going through all these energies that have been so uncomfortable. The pandemic being a really big collective one, and we're all coming out of it feeling like, what? It's kind of that rebirth. So this is like maybe that final chapter before the new book gets to begin. So there will be a lot to go through this year. And there will be a lot of necessary protection needed as well. So I'll hand it back over to my girl.
And also not only protection, but ways to enhance it in some instances. Or especially during retrogrades, just how to deal and cope with it. But for change, for example, since we're talking change and transformation, a couple of crystals that may be good to have, in your pocket, in your purse, just with you. I have always been one that carried crystals in my pocket, in my bra in some instances when I didn't have pockets.
Pockets for girls. That's a new thing.
But purses, I have a bunch of crystals in a little pouch that I keep in my purse.
We also wear them.
Wear them, hello. And if you know us, we're always wearing crystals. I'm sure you've heard them throughout us talking. But so some for change and transformation. We want to look at stones that provide some balance and some comfort, but also help us welcome this change. And so we're looking at stones like moonstone, which is one of my favorites, labradorite, jasper. You want to look for sodalite, which will kind of actually help us through that transformation and keep us calm. Hematite, which is also really good for protection, and bloodstone. These stones and crystals are really going to help you deal with the change and transformation that is going to happen this year, and really give you a sense of peace and calm and openness to this change.
Yes.
Because part of this year is also this development of the self. So because Neptune is coming out of Pisces and getting out of this dreamy, kind of mystical, focus on
emotional.
is we're all in this together. We're moving into Aries, and Aries is all about the self, and Aries is a fire sign, and so focusing on the self and a lot of changes within ourself, and that could be self-realization, that could be self-esteem, that could be how we view ourselves, identity, what things that make us happy, things that don't make us happy, and really delving into what it is, who we are individually, and where we fit in to all of this. And so some stones to and crystals to have to kind of help ease that, because that's some hard work, that's some shadow work sometimes too.
It is.
Really discovering yourself and what's going on in yourself. But some crystals to kind of help ease that and also protect you, but also help facilitate that is jade and obsidian, opal and lapis lazuli. And lapis lazuli it's an amazing and very powerful stone, and it's a very good stone to help with things like self-esteem and self-realization and kind of where you're supposed to be. And that is something else that Genevieve alluded to with this 9. This is really a time of ending and starting anew. And so rediscovering who you are, this is a great time to create a new person, a new image. If you're on a path that you don't like, to switch it up and create a new path. So really that's part of that transformation and change.
Yes.
Also as involved in part of that self and the self-changing.
Well, and that's part of it, I think, too, right? I mean, even if you just think of the general way a book and a chapter run, you get to the end of a chapter, you get to the end of a book with someone who's really gotten back to that sense of self and figured out who they are, and like how everything that's happened, good, bad, ugly, has brought them here, and they're going to use that to now move forward, like level up, right?
And that's what this year
is
about.
And that's what this year is about. We're leveling up.
And we're, taking in all of this new information, new ways to communicate, technology, all of it. But it's because it's also ruled not only by fire, but also by air, which represents communication. And, so shout out to our air signs, like Aquarius and Gemini and Libra. But this is really, we've got some Gemini up in here. And then, of course, Pluto and Aquarius, which is an air, sign. So
we went from water and earth in the last 20 years. We were very and grounded. Last year, grounded, and now we're getting into the fire and air. I mean, and if you live in Colorado, you understand wildfires. California, I mean, anywhere in the West,
they feed each other, right?
The air, the wind, and the wind alone can start fires. I mean, out here it's wild.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
it's going to be bumpy. Prepare for turbulence.
Yes.
It is time to put your seatbelts on. But part of this also deals with this psychic awareness and this awakening of our gifts.
Yeah.
And those of us that are psychically in tuned, our gifts becoming more apparent to us and more visible and used more and need to be. And not only for our own selves, but others, for the common good and for the good of all.
Yeah.
Aquarius is also a very humanitarian sign. And so a lot of what's going to change and what's going to transform has to do with society and those systems.
Yep.
And so having some of this psychic awareness will help guide you and help protect you, and also help you transform and change. And so garnet, kyanite. Oh, kyanite is amazing. And also moonstone. Shout out to moonstone.
On here twice.
So moonstone, as we said, very powerful. But all three can very help you kind of attune to your psychic awareness and your gifts that are going to come out. So even those of you that are like, oh, I don't believe in this, or whatever, just, keep track of your dreams. What's coming through you in your dreams.
Your intuition, your gut feeling.
And that's also the theme. Yes, the gut feeling, your intuition. That is going to be enhanced for everyone. This theme of authenticity and being able to read through bullshit and being able to decipher lies, which is needed, especially with the new presidency.
Sure. Oh, gosh.
There is really going to be, as part of this awakening, is this idea of being authentic and saying
your true self.
Your true self. Saying what you mean, doing what you say.
Yeah. Actions speak louder than words, and so if you say you're going to do something, you must do it.
Yeah.
That's part of authenticity. It is like
being your true
just
self.
being yourself, and that's really, really hard.
And it is, and because especially when you're in a society that expects you to live a certain way or present yourself in a certain way, and if that wasn't the case, then we wouldn't have filters on Instagram and all the things,
or
Botox,
Snapchat, filters,
all the things.
I don't have Snapchat, but I think that's a problem. I know it is.
I mean, the teens love it.
The teens are all about it.
All about it.
Can I real quick? This is my ADHD. Mm-hmm. We talked about Moonstone so many times. One, I'm wearing one that's very dark, and so I had to question whether it was or not.
Right, because I have Moonstone and it's very light, and I'm also wearing Moonstone, which is also very pearly and is like getting different kinds of lights. But this one is really white.
Exactly. So they can all be different. That's the point. It's kind of the beauty of it. But it also reminded me of Taylor Swift's song lyric. Some guy said my aura's moonstone just 'cause he was high. So hopefully I can replace that with her actual one without getting in trouble in this video. But it's a powerful
that song.
I'm sorry, if Taylor Swift is singing about moonstone and auras, like, it's important.
So
our girl knows.
So both are going to help enhance and protect and also like bring out those parts of your aura and that
and will help protect
communication. Yeah. Exactly. Like your throat chakra and really opening your heart to this change and becoming this new person that you are going to become, or these new situations or new opportunities or just this newness, that change that you'll be experiencing.
Change is really hard for folks.
Change can be really hard, but it can also be really good.
It is. And I think we stand on it's going to be really good. Just kind of hang in there. Do your best. It's going to be really hard for a minute, but,
Right, but it's necessary.
It's necessary.
Just like a butterfly goes through...
Yes.
The stage of being a caterpillar and being in a cocoon. It's metamorphosis. So... that is definitely a theme.
Yeah.
But also to help guide you and help protect you through all of this craziness. Some stones for protection that are just generally good to have anyway. Whether you're traveling, for, at school, at work, in your car, wherever. But really will protect you from, some of... I'm not saying evil, but any of this negative energy.
Negative.
Or, just naysay, for someone who struggles with self-esteem like myself, I'm always go to the negative. I always go to the negative. And so having some of these protection stones with me help me to not go straight to that place. Or at least soften it a little bit. Or at least provide me an avenue to think differently. And so some protection stones for you to help ease and help protect you, and also enhance or encourage some of this transformation and change in self is tiger eye, smoky quartz, amber, and malachite. Malachite is a master protection stone and is one of the more popular ones, tiger eye too. And you can find any of these stones at any of your local crystal or gem shops or metaphysical. And we have some great recommendations, places that, are within the metro area. But I would highly recommend, and it is calling me, the universe is telling me, my guides are saying, these stones are really going to help support you this year in 2025. Because again, it is full of change, and change can be hard. Transformation can be hard and icky and gross. And, recognizing these new gifts or this new awareness that you may have, and you're going to need things to help you maneuver through this year. And so crystal energy is definitely one that can help you and guide you, protect you, and really get you to the place where you need to be during this year.
Absolutely.
So.
And speaking on the energy part of that, you are a crystal guru. I'm navigating, learning about energy. It is very real. These are very helpful and super important in protecting your energy. And again, it's like however it feels comfortable. I wear the bracelets. People wear necklaces. You can put them in like your pockets, your purse, like everything you said. Keep them in little sachets in your car, whatever. But part of this decolonization that we're working towards, this because we're dismantling systems. We're purposefully dismantling this capitalist system.
Thank God.
I hope so. And what always makes the most sense is going back to indigenous practices, Mother Nature, the divine feminine. And these are things that we know to be true and that work. And so just give it a try. Just give it a try.
I'm just saying. I know for
What's
me,
the worst that's happening? You're carrying a rock around. I don't know.
And yes. And they're pretty. I mean, they're really pretty. I mean, all of them, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But some of them are very, very just beautiful. So take it or leave it, but it's just some suggestions, some ways to share my psychic awareness and
my energy awareness.
My energy and just, things that have benefited me.
Yeah.
Part of our podcast is we want to share things that are helping us manage what it's like to be right now, not only as former teachers or as women, but also, where we are in life right now. And so highly recommend, and like we said, available at any of your local gem stores, rock stores, metaphysical stores, whatever.
We'll put a couple of our faves in the comments.
Absolutely. And then also,
wherever that works.
If you're really anxious about all of this or really worried, slap some amethyst or rose quartz on you. Calm that shit down. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And think of it as this is needed.
Yes.
It's like when you get your hair cut.
Yes.
And you really, really need those 4 inches off, but
you grew it out so long though. You grew it out so long though.
But it's really dry and crispy, and there's lots of split ends, but you're like, oh, the length. You just cut that shit, and you cut it because it's dead, it's old,
it's no longer serving you.
It's weighing the rest of your hair down. So you cut it, and then boom. Not only do you feel more fresh, more new, prettier, sexier, whatever, but it's just better. And it's not weighed down by all this debt and shit that you don't need.
Exactly.
Okay?
You got this, our friends. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Sending much love to you all, and
Happy New Year.
Coming year. Happy New Year, and thank you for always tuning in to Two Recovering Teachers. Talk to you later. Mwah.